Winter 2025, Linda.
Yes.
And here we are. I don't know how many of these recordings we've done over the years, but as we have been in our present location for now 25 years,
Well, this July.
we've done quite a few. This July is going to be our 25th anniversary in the historic Barrie property on
Yeah.
Bellevue Avenue. And we're going to have some celebrations.
For sure.
And we did celebrate, according to our newsletter, which we sent out to most people, we did celebrate our 30th wedding anniversary.
Yeah, which was a milestone for us.
You're right. And we had fireworks. We had a great time, really. So here it is, winter of 2025, the winter of our despair, some people might say. The best of times, the worst of times. We can quote some Dickens there. But we've got some good news, too. We're not going to talk about Mr. Trump, but we're going to talk about investments and how well they've been doing, and of course other aspects as well too. It's income tax time. And before we get into income tax, we're going to mention that it's possible to still give to charity up until the end of the month of February. Is that correct?
Yeah. So due to the postal strike being very disruptive in December, when a lot of people do their last charitable donations, a lot of charities suffered from that.
Mm-hmm.
And so the government has taken some, pity, I guess would say, and has allowed an extension till the end of February for charitable donations, where you can still use them this year when you file your income tax. So if you do have some spare cash and you're looking for more tax deductions, you've got a few more weeks until the end of February to be able to donate and help a charity and those less fortunate, and still get a tax write-off.
Now, also, you can donate to political parties and get a tax rebate as well too, or a tax credit.
Right.
And which is something with elections coming up, both on the provincial and federal scene, that could be a consideration as well too.
Sure.
Now, talking about money. And not talking about Mr. Trump and tariffs and all that sort of thing, but the markets have done fairly well over the past year. Now, some people have questioned, okay, what's going to happen? There's political turmoil and that sort of thing. There could be some volatility.
Well, I would certainly say it's without a doubt going to be a volatile year. You have the media feeding the frenzy of whatever people want to spout off about. And so as a result, that causes people to be uncomfortable and react emotionally. So, yeah, I think we're going to have a volatile year. As John has mentioned, the last couple have been good, last year in particular. And so as a result, the portfolio managers did take profits. So they sold off some of the things that were doing especially well and put that money in cash. And then again this week, so due to things being a little more calmed down after the reprieve on the tariffs for a bit, took 10% out of the NASDAQ, so in the growth position, and put that in cash so that they are being diligent about doing their work in order to put money in a place that they can then reposition it when there are volatile times during the year, and also protecting the profits that they have made, the earnings that you've got in your portfolios. So,
and we do have the utmost confidence in the Croft Financial Group that does managing the money, and we should state that our money is there as well too.
oh yes, of course. I think everybody knows that.
And if you want to keep up to date, of course, on our website, financialdecisions.ca, there are reports from the portfolio managers and also from Mr. Croft himself, who is extremely well known in the financial field and has commented in the media over the years, and he's certainly, I would say, one of the most astute investors that's available in Canada today.
For sure, they are working hard and probably doing a bit more overtime when you have this kind of volatility, but with volatility does come opportunities for the future. And of course, if it's money that you need in the short term, then as I always say to people, that's what we want to put in a safer position. However, the Bank of Canada has been dropping the interest rates, and as a result, GICs are not making as great a return as they were the last several years.
Now, let's talk about taxes. I know no one really wants to talk about taxes, but we do taxes for a number of clients, and there is a special form as well too, besides a tax pack envelope that's available for those individuals to make sure that they have all the information. Now, look at how much information can you have, really? I mean, this goes on and on. There's more every year.
Well, I mean, everybody's got different circumstances, so not every one of those topics or every one of those incomes deductions are for each individual person. Some people have a pretty simple tax, and then others have something that's way more complex.
Now, those slips, they really are important, and they should be included in the information that we receive.
Yeah, we rely on the tax slips to give us the information that we need. And sometimes that's why we encourage people to wait until about mid-March, because a lot of the tax slips don't get issued until later. T4s, they can issue, or they're supposed to issue, your employer, by the end of February, but everything else is more likely to happen for investments later in March. And so you don't want to start off and then have to redo your tax return. Better to wait and get all those slips.
And of course, medical expenses are important as well too.
For sure, but your medical expenses, if it's prescriptions, go with the simple route and just visit the pharmacy and say, please print out my prescription receipts for the year.
And they are more than happy to do that as
Yeah,
well too.
absolutely.
Now, I understand that in certain instances, healthcare expenses can be worked over a period of years.
Well, they can be worked over a fiscal period. So, for example, if in 2023 you had some really big expenses, but they weren't quite enough to claim in your 23 tax return, we can look at, did it happen in like September of 23, and then we go to September of 24, and that may be the better option. So sometimes it can go over a fiscal year period.
Something we did mention in our newsletter, and that's and we included some information with respect to scams, and anyone's really susceptible, but in particular older folks, because they are generally more trusting, and they may not be as sophisticated as some of the scammers. We understand that there's particular concern with respect to grandparents who may be receiving calls from, and with artificial intelligence, you can make anyone sound like anyone, basically.
For sure.
And they make these calls saying, "Wow, I'm your grandson or granddaughter. I'm in real trouble. I need some money. Please give us some money somehow." And is there any way to avoid that?
Well, I don't think that you can avoid the fact that scammers can come after whatever they're looking for. And I think regardless of person's age or sophistication, it's pretty tricky nowadays to be certain. And so, as I've said in the newsletter, one of the things that we would encourage people to do so that you aren't duped by the artificial intelligence sounding like a family member is to create that family word. So it's just a word that only your family knows and uses. And so that would be the way that you can double check whether this is really your family member.
So to pick just any type of word like spaghetti sauce or
Sure.
something, and so people would know that particular word.
Yeah.
So how does that work again? If you have
Well,
this
I
word?
mean, at one of your family gatherings, you have this discussion, so at least you put it on the table, and then talk about we're going to pick this word. This is our family word, and so if somebody's calling and it sounds like it's urgent, to double check that they are who they say they are, then, the spaghetti sauce, for example, could be the word that you use. Because you have that, you have people saying that they lost their phone or their phone dropped in the water or something like that, and they're using someone else's phone. It's just too easy these days. So you do need to do something that you can protect yourselves with, and make it simple.
So this has all been contained in the newsletter, some information, and if this ever does occur, if someone suspects that there's a scam taking place, the police are the people to phone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the first phone call is to your family members to make sure that, you know, they're knowing that somebody's trying to scam you. And then also, for sure, call the police. They want to know so they can alert other people, or they may already be aware and they can confirm that this scam is something that's happening in our city.
And there are police resources dedicated to this particular
Yep.
problem, which is not going to go away
No.
because with artificial intelligence, of course, and the scammers seem to use every trick in the trade that they can. And it's not just on a phone call; it can be over the internet as
Yeah,
well.
it could be emails, etc. Anything that looks unfamiliar, you're better off to delete it than you are to respond.
So this has been our report. As we mentioned, we have sent out our newsletter, and we send out this video as well too to keep people informed. And basically, here we are in early February. We have a provincial election coming up, and who knows, a federal election sometime, without a doubt, next year. These are changing times and challenging times as well too. But once again, if you check our website, financialdecisions.c, there's information there at all times. We have a link to the Bloomberg people who can keep you up to date with activity in the financial world. And once again, I guess it's I guess the operational motto should be keep calm.
For sure. I mean, I think that operationally, for everybody, it's better to be looking at what are my goals and did my goals change, and keeping all of your investment connections linked to those goals. And anybody who's got concerns, give us a call and we can go through and discuss things thoroughly and make sure that if there's things that have changed in your life, we're correcting and reorganizing your portfolios or your goals accordingly.
And speaking of operational, I guess we better get back to work. So
Sure.
thanks very much for viewing, and enjoy your rest of the winter. And of course, we're looking forward to spring. Taxes, we'll start doing them, I believe, sometime mid-March.
Yep.
And then, of course, we're looking forward to summertime and celebrating our 25th anniversary. So until then, goodbye for now.
Yep. Bye.
And we're back to work.